Hello and welcome back to our series where we are building a people and culture management system. This series is brought to you by Prairie HR Solutions. My name is Jake Finger, founder and principal consultant here at Prairie HR Solutions. And in this video, I'd like to finish the functionality of our salary analysis dashboard. If you haven't watched our previous videos, I suggest you do so. What we've created was a salary analysis dashboard, sort of a compensation analysis. And we have various controls and filters that we can filter our data by. And this data comes from a Google Sheet dynamically and is populated based on whatever filters we select here. And what I'm wanting to do is come down here to our analytics section and this R squared piece. So remember, the R squared shows a correlation, and in our fictitious randomized company here, we are stating essentially that we pay salary based on experience. So the philosophy of this fictitious company is you make a higher salary the more years of experience that you have. Well, this is not necessarily the case, although the grouped data here is increasing. The salary is increasing by experience slightly. The correlation is very, very low. The perfect correlation is 1.0. It's 1. And this correlation here is 0.005, which means that there is a very minuscule correlation that our salary is increasing by experience. And the reason for this is obviously just because our data is, well, all over the place. It doesn't really fit. There's so many examples to where that's not the case that is throwing our correlation off. Now, this is just randomized data, so, it is what it is. Typical companies would be, well, they may look like this, but then they may look differently and maybe a little bit higher correlation. But what I would like to do for our functionality is take this correlation input box and color code it based on a threshold. So we can give it a color of green, yellow, red. Obviously, green means it's a high correlation. Red would mean that it's not. And what we can do is set a threshold for a high correlation being between 0.65 and 1, and then 6.5 and 35 for, slight correlation or moderate correlation, and anything less than 0.35 is little to no correlation. So this here should be red. So what I would like to do is take this value, run it through an if statement, and if it is high, medium, or low, high, moderate, or low, then populate the color, make this box a color. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's jump into our code, and I'll make this a little bigger so we can see it better. And what we're going to need to find is the spot in our code to where that field is being populated. So this is our initial fetch data and draw chart. It's not going to be there. This is where we process our data. Not going to be there. We're drawing our chart here. And then, here we go. This is the function where we display our regression values. And these regression values are the linear regression and our R squared. So what we're going to need to do is after this R square here is populated, then we can go in there and grab the value of it. So let's create a variable here, still within inside this function. And we can create this if statement here. Or we can run it off of a different function down here in our total rewards JS file. For now, I'm just going to do it up here and then we'll move it. So let's create ourselves a variable here, and let's create this variable as R squared value, and let's make this equal to R squared box dot value. Because see, we're setting the value here equal to this, and then we just need to get whatever that is. And then what we can do is come up here and take this red squared box, which is this element, and populate it based on whatever this is. So we can write an if statement. If r squared value is less than or equal to 1.0, this should be a number, and r squared value is greater than or equal to 0.65, then we want to do something. And then the other piece of our if statement, so we're going to do another one, else if, and then we're going to take this and change some numbers. Oh, looks like my mouse maybe. There we go. It's like my mouse batteries may be going here. Okay, there we go. So now we can say if it is less than 0.65, and greater than or equal to, and then this here should be 3.5, then we want it to do something else. And if it's lower than everything, then we can also do something different. Okay, so what we can do now is, if it's a high correlation, we can then take the r squared box, which is this variable up here, and then set the style, and we want to do the background color, and then we want to make this background color equal to, we'll just use green for right now. And what we can do is we can take this and copy that and do the same thing here, and then we'll make, you know, this yellow, okay, let me go change batteries here real quick. Okay, and then this one here is going to be red. Okay, there we go. That's working a little bit better. So now let's save this and see what we got. So now when we come up here, this should populate a color. More than likely, it's going to populate red. At least that's what we're hoping for. And it sure is. Okay, so it's red. And let's see if we can find something that is, I don't think we're going to find anything that's a moderate, but we can change that. After this episode, I'll go through and, you know, change some of our data here, make it a little bit more believable. And I'm looking at this color here, this red color, and we should probably make this text white. So what we can do is take this again and not use this background color. We just want to set the color. We can set the color to white. Okay, we'll save this and then we'll go up here and see how that looks. Okay, that's better. Now, I think what I'm going to do is change the hex while we're here. I'm going to change this color from red to an actual hue that it's a reddish hue, but I want it to match that a little bit more. And if you remember correctly, this was that grayish color, this 3C, 4C, 5C. So let's go to our internet and let's just find some hex color picker. I'll just pick this HTML color code thing. And the red that we're going to want is, let's get a little bit of a darker hue to kind of match our reddish tone there to where it's not so bright. We'll put that there. And then let's also do the same thing for our yellow. Okay, that's more of a green. Okay, that's more of a bright yellow, more of a weird brown. There we go. Maybe what we can do is come over here and grab that. That one looks fine. Just to make it to where it's not so bright and off. And then we can do the same thing for our green. Just find green right here in the middle. And then let's take it down this way a little bit to more of a grayish color. Like so. And then this yellow, I'd like to do something different with it too, like maybe that color. Okay, so here's our green, and then our yellow. Let me go over here and grab that and put that in here. And then what we're also going to need to do is grab this here and put it also on both of these. Okay, so now let's go back over here and then see how this looks. Because we really don't want it to be so bright red, because we want it to draw attention, but we don't want it to distract from everything. Now, mind you, I am by far no means a UI expert or a color coordinator or marketing or anything of that nature, but yep, that's a lot better. That's a lot better. Okay, so now what we can do is we have this completely finished. So what I'm wanting to do now is to start laying the foundation for our benefits piece. So if we come over to our actual database here and we open up our employee data, we actually have our benefits starting right here at our 8K. So what I would like to start laying the foundation for is creating maybe a separate div to where one can either look at compensation or one can look at the actual benefits piece. And it looks like benefits goes all the way over. So what I would like to do is to use this data to populate yet maybe another chart. And that chart is going to show us simply a breakdown of how many people are in XYZ like say XYZ Dental versus ABC Dental, and then how many people are in individual and family. So my thought is that we'll create a div and we will make that entire div either block or none. And then a user can select, okay, I want to see dental. I want to see, or not dental. I want to see benefits. I want to see compensation. And then it would set dynamically that div to either block or none to show or not. And then we can start charting out some of this data here. And we can just do benefits. We can do a row of benefits, a row of dental. This is health benefits, of course. A row of dental, a row of vision, and then also our 401k and stock. And then we can also do the same thing for maybe what we should do. This is also a benefit, but this also belongs in our compensation piece. So maybe what we'll do is we will add on, we'll break this up and add it on somewhere else. So to do this, what we're going to need to do is essentially wrap this whole salary analysis information, this entire container, in a div. So let's go over here to our code and let's come down here to where our container starts. So we have this container. So what we're going to do is wrap this in a div, and let's call this div, let's give it an ID and call this comp analy section. And what we're going to do is we are going to set this style equals display, I believe it is, equals display dot none. No, equals dot none. Okay, that doesn't look right. Let me think about this. So our style is going to be style dot display equals, and if we put none here, that should take care of that. Okay, so if we put none here, then that should take care of that. So let's go see. That may be the wrong syntax, but we'll find out. So let's come all the way down here to this container, and let's close out that div, and we'll put ourselves a little marker here. This is going to be comp analy section. Okay, so let's save this and then see if that actually sets it to none. Now, what none does is it makes it not visible, but it also hides it from taking up space. So let's see if we got that syntax correct. Been doing so many syntaxes, I think I might have gotten it wrong. Yep, and I did. So let's come back up here, and I think, let me look at this again. Okay, I see what I'm doing. Okay, so this actually should be just like our CSS. So style is going to equal, and we're setting the CSS like so. Okay, so that's the correct syntax. Had a little moment of brain lapse there. So now let's come back over here and refresh this and see what that actually did. So you'll see that it's here, it's just not showing or taking up space. And that's what we're wanting to toggle on and off. So what we can do is we can come over here and scroll down here and yet create another div, and we'll make this a class equals container. And then what we'll do is we'll close this out like so, and then we can simply, let's just put a H3 tag in here for now, and we'll call this benefits. Just call this a dashboard because that's really kind of what it is. And then we'll come up here and we will set this to a style equal display block. So now when we save this and we come back here and refresh this, you'll see that now we have this dashboard. And if we were to come back here and also put this to block, and then refresh it, you'll see what happens is they're both visible and they're both taking up space. So now we have this div set up. What we're going to do is actually take a button or a group of buttons right here and simply have it toggle compensation or benefits. And that'll be our next video. So I'll end this video here and we're going to put together a video on how to actually conduct a salary analysis or a compensation analysis. I'm going to go through and kind of clean this up and make it a little bit more believable, but we're going to put together a video there. So look for that in the future if you're interested in a very high level overview of how to generally do a salary or a compensation analysis. And we'll use this chart here. And then the next, where we pick up the next series, is we will start building out our benefits dashboard. Now I want to go into using different graphs. Right now we're using a scatter plot. I think for a benefits dashboard, it would be beneficial to use, I know I'm not excited about pie charts, but maybe just a pie chart or a bar chart showing the different benefit usage. So look for that video coming up in the near future. And until next time, please take care.